Hey everyone, in this video I'd like to share with you a practical treadmill which I've been using for about 7 weeks. It's called the WalkingPad X21 and the cool feature about this treadmill is that it can be folded up when not in use. So it's obviously one of the coolest features of the treadmill because treadmills are typically, well, huge. But at the back of this room is the treadmill. It's sitting behind my sofa over there in the corner, which is quite unbelievable that I can just fold it up and slide it away when I'm not using it. So the treadmill was sent out to me by the company WalkingPad, and I do appreciate companies that support this channel, but they've got no influence on what I think or what I say in this video, and they've not seen this video before it's gone live on YouTube. So let's dive in and find out more about what the WalkingPad X21 is all about. WalkingPad is owned by Kingsmith, a company that was launched in China in 2015 with the idea that a piece of fitness equipment should fit into your life, not the other way around. Their core concept behind their WalkingPad treadmills is simple: a premium treadmill that can be folded away when not in use, but easily accessible at any time. This is contrast to regular treadmills that typically remain set up at all times, using up a lot of space in your house. The company currently sells treadmills in around 90 territories around the world, and you can buy directly from WalkingPad.com or from Amazon and other distributors. Here in the UK, the WalkingPad X21 typically sells for between £600 and £700, whilst in the United States, it can usually be found for between $700 and $800. All purchases come with a 45-day return policy and a 1-year warranty, and extended warranties up to 3 years can be purchased too. The treadmill boasts a max speed of 7.45 miles per hour, which is 12 kilometers per hour. It has premium build quality, a detachable phone holder, NFC pairing, and a companion app for storing information about your activities. The folding mechanism is the feature that initially grabs your attention, but the LED digital display screen is the feature that will make you smile. Whilst you're walking, you can use the main speed dial to adjust speed and see information such as how long you've been walking or running, your speed, your distance, and your burned calories. The treadmill has a maximum loading capacity of 110 kilograms or 240 pounds, so if you are heavier than that limit, this isn't the product for you. The WalkingPad X21 arrived in a large box that had a lot of packaging inside to ensure the treadmill was not damaged. There's an accessories box inside that features a mobile phone holder, an after sales card, quick guide and user manual, an Allen key in silicone oil, and the power cord and safety key. To remove the treadmill from the box, I stood the box vertically and then slid it out. The treadmill is incredibly well balanced, so it stands vertically with ease, so it makes sense to remove it that way. At the end, I was left with a big bag of cardboard and a beautiful new treadmill that weighs 37 kilograms or 81 pounds. The treadmill has small wheels on the base, so I think most people will be comfortable lifting it or moving it to another place on the same floor. When folded, the X21 is 100.7 centimeters high, 71.1 centimeters wide, and 22.5 centimeters deep, which in inches is 39.6 by 27.99 by 8.86. When unfolded, the depth increases to 142.2 centimeters, which is 55.9 inches. To unfold the treadmill, you simply lift the main lever to lower the treadmill to the floor and then unfold it. It's that simple. The WalkingPad X21's power cord has a kettlebell connection and is 2 meters in length. You can leave it plugged in at all times if you wish and switch the treadmill off using the red master switch. The rated maximum power draw of 918 watts will obviously depend on your walking or running speed, but no watts will be drawn if the master switch is set to off. If you turn it on and you're not using it, the X21 only draws around 5.9 watts. When the treadmill is switched on, you need to connect the safety key before you can use it. The main dial will then show that you can start with a note that the app is disconnected. Underneath the main display are two screws that you can use to hold the mobile phone holder in place. You aren't required to connect this accessory, but I have found it to be useful when using the treadmill. Likewise, you don't have to use the official WalkingPad app, but I do recommend giving it a try as it helps you keep a long-term record of your steps, total distance and calories. So I'm hoping the camera is not too wonky donkey, but what I'd like to do at this stage is just show you how easy the treadmill is to use, because that really is one of the greatest selling points of this treadmill. It's easy to put away and it's easy to bring it back out, quickly fold out and then just get going. Now when you turn it on, it will automatically switch on, but I can show you here that when it's been off a while, it will kind of auto shut off like a screensaver, but you know, you push it there and it's back on and then it will say start. Now, I'll talk about the app in the next section, but there's one thing to note here is that when it came, it was set as kilometers and I couldn't change it. And that was because I was using a different app. But in the KS Fit app, I think that's what it's called, you can change it between imperial and metric. So if I change it to metric, it should change it back to kilometers. Now, when you're ready to go, oh, actually, is it connected? See, it's disconnected. That's why it's not changing. So this is a good example of what I need to do. So reconnect. Reconnecting the app. There we go. And it's set. Now, as I was saying there, it's set as imperial. If I change it to metric, it beeps. So now it's set to kilometers. Now, that was something I was unable to do before because, you know, the other app didn't allow you to do that. But in this one, the KS Fit app, you can change between kilometers and miles, but I'll stick with kilometers for now, and I'll show you how we get going. So if I push the start button, 3, 2, 1, and we get going. So in kilometers, it will start at 2 kilometers per hour. I think in miles, it's 1.3, and you can see that the app changes here as well. And the thing is, with this app, you can actually pause, you can resume, you can, you know, start the treadmill back up again, but that's not the most user-friendly way to do it. The app can do it, and you can use the app if you wish, but I don't think that's the most efficient way to do it. The most efficient way is to just use the treadmill itself. And if I pick up my action camera again, I can show you what I see. So you really don't have to press the button here unless you want to stop, but we're at 2 kilometers per hour just now. You can see the time that's elapsed and you can see the distance in kilometers and calories. Now I can reduce the speed, but I can easily increase it as well. And it beeps. That's a setting I need to find to see if I can switch that off, but at the moment it beeps a lot when I do that. But yeah, that's really the easiest way to use it. You can use the app, I believe, to change the speed. As you can see, there's speed settings. So you can go up like that. But this is the best way to do it. And you just want to find a speed that's comfortable for you. So this is kind of like a fast walk just now. And what you would do is just kind of put your hands here if you were doing that and just take your time and just walk like that. As I said earlier, the mobile phone accessory holder, this little thing at the front here, that's optional, but I do think it's very, very useful because it just gives you something to look down at. You could watch a show, you could listen to music or something, or if you have a TV in the background, you could watch that as well. Now, the simplicity of this is that you can quickly move up the speeds. So I've got it at 4, but what I'm going to do now, I can't use the action camera here because I'm going to increase the speed. So what I'm going to do now is increase the speed, and I just want to demonstrate that you can run incredibly fast in this. It goes up to 12 kilometers per hour. I think it's 7.4 or 7.45 miles per hour. So going up 5, 6. That's me up to 9 kilometers per hour. And my microphone is still staying on. Hopefully the audio isn't too bad. And this is quite a fast speed. This is the kind of speed I would probably do if I was at a gym, about 9 kilometers per hour. I'm going to slow down now. My microphone is sliding all the way down my top. So I've slowed myself down there. In addition to my microphone, it was kind of sliding down my stomach there. My action camera fell to the side as well. But I'm back to 2 kilometers per hour. And this is everything you need here. You can see your time, your speed, your distance, your calories. I guess the only thing I would say is missing here would be, and maybe it's overkill, but maybe just somewhere to put a bottle of water. You know, if you're doing a run or a long walk that's, you know, kind of over 20, 30, 40 minutes, it would be good to have a little bottle of water there just to rehydrate, and it's not something that's there. So what I would do, if I was doing a long run and I was getting thirsty, what I would do would simply be, you know, slowing down the pace. So if you're up at a fast pace, you would slow it down and then just stop. Now, I want to put the speed up because I want to show you this pause functionality that's been flashing all the time. So I'm going to push it just to show you what happens. So I'm pushing pause, and you can see that the speed is going down and down and down until it stops. Now, at this stage, you can continue. There's an option here in the app to continue again, or you can just push the button. Push continue. As it goes back. Now, it's reset back to 2. Now, you might be wondering, why has it not went back to the 4 whatever kilometers per hour I was doing? That's a good thing. You know, if you're running incredibly fast, if you're running like 9 kilometers an hour or something, you don't want to run straight back into that. It's, you know, as a safety feature, it starts at the base running speed again, and then you just have to increase the speed until you get back up to it, and then, you know, you're good to go. Now, I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to push pause, and it's going to do the same again. It's going to go down to around 0. When you're down at that, what you can do is just hold it in, and that will finish. And then that's the app finished there. And that's what I love about this. It's just the simplicity of it. I've showed you the app here, but I'll be honest, I've been using the other app, and the other app's kind of limited, and I would lean towards not using the app. I will talk about this more in the next section, but for me, it's more practical to just rely on my Garmin watch for tracking how much I've ran, tracking distance, etc. It is really nice to see it here though. It's really nice to be able to see the distance here. The only thing missing here is that when it says distance, it doesn't say kilometers or miles. You just have to remember what you've set it in the app. But I like the simplicity of this. It's just the time, speed, distance, calories. I don't really care about calories if I'm honest, but it's there. And yeah, it's quite a simple design. So for me, I would use this in a very simple way. I would rely on my watch for tracking everything. But, you know, I just love how easy it all is. Now, once you're finished here, you can just start back up again. But if I hold it down, I will just turn it off. Now, it's still connected to the mains, it's still powered on, etc., but it has been turned off. So that's all there is to it. That's how easy the X21 is to use. What I'd like to do now is show you the companion apps. And yes, there are 2. There's 2 apps here, and I've tested both of them, and they both connect and work with the X21 Treadmill. Now, the first one that I connected was this WalkingPad Plus app, and it's connected already because I've got it switched on in the background. And that's what I will say, actually connecting your phone to the treadmill is so easy. It's just instant. And all you have to do is go into the settings here and go to Setup, WalkingPad, and It'll be available there. It'll connect via Bluetooth, and you press it there. Now in this settings area, the My Info bit just shows your email, your name. You can enter your height and weight. They've got some pre-included music there, but you can also just use Spotify, etc. There's like coaching. These are not things that I've tested because I'm just not interested in them. And there's daily goals as well. So there's things like that. Now, what I will say about this is that it seems like it's been abandoned. It does look like the app has just been abandoned and replaced with the other app. To me, that's what it seems like. But it also seems like it was just sloppy. My day job is an app developer, and why they've got 0.0 miles there and 8.9 kilometers there, I mean, that is just such a basic error. I'm not sure how they got that. And there's a lot of stuff here as well, like, how are you feeling? Like, do I really need this? Motivator. All these things are there. But the discrepancy there, miles and kilometers, I looked into this more, and the reason I looked into it more, I was unable to change the setting from kilometers to miles on the treadmill itself. And I just couldn't find any options for it here. Now, I looked on ChatGPT. I was asking ChatGPT about this, and it said that the app will actually match your iOS settings. So if you change it from metric to imperial, it will change. You might have to reboot the treadmill. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I wasn't able to change it that way, but it seems like it's maybe doing something like that, where it's just presuming that, the treadmill should match your phone. I will say that, though, that I think that if you've got an Apple Watch or a Garmin watch or anything like that, I feel like that's going to be the better option for tracking your steps, because, you track your heart rate, and you can track so many things with these watches now. This will show a lot of things, though, and if you don't have a fitness watch, a smartwatch, this is actually okay. Despite the fact it's a bit clumsy and it's quite basic, if you just want to see what you've been doing and just see the number of steps that you've done, the distance, the calories burned, and you obviously take that with a pinch of salt, because there's so many factors: height, weight, intensity, all these different things. But if you just want to see what you've been doing, then you can use this to track it, and you can enter your weight and see your progress over time. So I do feel like this app is kind of incomplete, and I do feel it offers a lot of features that are just not important to me. And I do feel that, if you've got a smart fitness watch, that's going to be a better option, generally speaking. But you can do both. If I was doing a long walk or a long run, I can track it on this and also just connect the app. And that's one thing I will say about both apps. You don't have to really press start, stop. You don't have to say, please track my walk or please track my run. You simply connect it, and once you've just switched on the app, it automatically connects, and then it tracks. It just does it all automatically. So I will say that is a huge positive. It just does it. So maybe that's something you want to do, is that you can track it with your fitness watch, but also as soon as you connect to this app, it just tracks your runs, and then it just gives you a second way to see what activities you've done specifically on the treadmill. Now, when I was looking to change from kilometers to miles, I discovered that there's a KS Fit app, and this was something that was not really advertised as much on the UK website, but I saw in the American version of WalkingPad.com, they were advertising the KS Fit app, and this is the 0.29 kilometers that I ran before when I was wearing this before, and I was kind of just demonstrating the treadmill. And again, I wasn't trying to track an activity. I just said connect the app, and it's recorded all of this, average cadence, average speed, average pace, etc. It's quite cool, actually. This is without doubt a much better app. You can see that it's a much better app. I think, my main criticism against Kingsmith, the makers of the X21, would be that they should have removed the other app, or at least put a big message saying this has been discontinued, please use the other app. I'm less familiar with this app just because I've only connected it recently, in the last day or so. So I'm not as familiar with this one, but it is a little bit more polished. It does look a little bit more professional, and if I turn this on, it's beeped. It should connect now. There we go. Again, it connects. This one's, I guess, inherently behind the scenes as far as what it's tracking. It's going to be very similar behind under the hood, sorry, to the other app. It's going to show you everything that you've been doing, your steps, your distance, your calories. But the app is just, you know, is a much better design, and it's a little bit easier to use. And the one thing here, you can see the maximum speed. That's another thing I never mentioned before, is that, you know, the maximum speed of my treadmill is 12, but you can reduce that. That's quite a cool setting, actually. If you feel that, you know, you're cycling that speed up, but if, say, you don't want to go above 8 kilometers per hour, you could reduce that. And that means that you can just cycle this up to top, and, you know, that's my max speed. I don't want to go any faster than that. The startup speed there, 2 kilometers per hour, I find that to be a really good speed, but you can change that as well. You can set it higher or lower. And it's quite good that you can do that. You can kind of set your default so that when it starts, you know, you can start slower or faster. I do feel that the 2 kilometers startup speed is quite good. It's a good pace to start, to just get a few steps in and then increase the speed. But it's also a good speed that if you pause it and then you get back on, you know, you're not flying against the wall in the background there. It's quite slow, but it's not awkwardly slow. And if you've walked or ran in treadmills before, you know what I mean, in that if the treadmill goes too slow, it's really weird. You know, it's kind of awkward, whereas that 2 kilometers per hour to me feels like a natural walking pace. So yeah, there's some good options there with the treadmill. And I think it was under here, that I found the settings where you can change it there. So you can see there's a region switch, there's a unit setting. So if you do want to change it from kilometers to miles, this is where you do it. I think that's one of the most important settings that people will change. This is something actually I'm still trying to wrap my mind about, because I always ran tracking miles. I think just because in the UK we drive in our cars and track miles, etc. But yeah, there's a lot of options there, settings, etc. If we go back to the start here, you can actually start it and stop it. That's the one thing this app can do that the other one cannot. With this app, you can start the treadmill. There we go. So that's the treadmill in the background, running. Maybe this is what I should do. I should set this to run for half an hour a day and just let it run and lie to myself that I'm actually losing some weight. But that's pretty cool that you can do that. You can remotely control it. And I can just stop it now. We'll hold to stop. So I'm not sure that's a feature I need. I do still feel that the best way to use the app is to just use it and to run. Is to just use it with the dial. I just find it better to use it that way. But if you like to use it with the phone, you can do it that way. And there's lots of courses and programs here. If you are trying to get your steps up, get your distance up, these are things that you might want to look into. And I do like this. I do like the idea of all this as well, because I think if you've not ran before, you might be a little bit lost. Do I just walk forever? Do I just run forever? When you get more into running, you might see, okay, one day I'll just do a slow walk, another day, and maybe I'll do like some sort of interval run where I'm running fast and then slowing down, then running fast. So there's a lot of programs you can see there. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a nice addition. And then you've got your plan. And then, there's a summary there of your workouts there as well. So I do think this is probably the one to download if you're looking at between both of these apps. At the time of recording, both of these apps do work. They do connect and they will function. But the WalkingPad Plus one does give me this feel like it's not been updated in years. It's missing the option to switch between miles and kilometers. You cannot start and stop the treadmill using that one. It does seem like KS Fit is the one to go for. So really, it was just my bad downloading the WalkingPad app. I searched for WalkingPad, it popped up, it connected. So, that was the mistake that I made. The KS Fit app does seem to be the one to go for. I've said this a few times, but I do think, again, it's a nice companion app, and that's the way that I look at this. It's the companion app. It's not going to replace a Garmin watch or an Apple Watch or anything like that. But a lot of people don't have watches like that, and that's where this app maybe is the way to go. And the mobile phone holder, which you see here, That's all you have to use. You just plop this on the mobile phone holder, make sure this is connected, you've got that connecting message, and just push start and stop. And it is a good way to track your walking and your running over weeks, months, or years. So yeah, KS Fit is the app to download, KS Fit is the app to use. And everyone's got different requirements for walking and running, but I think this probably ticks more boxes than the other one. So yeah, that's a summary of both of the companion apps. So at this stage, you should have a good understanding as to what the WalkingPad X21 Treadmill is all about. But in this section, I'd like to summarize my thoughts on it and talk about my experience of using it over the last 7 weeks or so. Now, the clips of me on the treadmill and talking to the camera, those were recorded a couple of hours ago, but you can see that I've now disconnected the treadmill, I've folded it back up and I've slid it away. And I will say the folding mechanism is excellent. It's not a marketing gimmick, it's an absolute game changer. As you know, most treadmills are big and they're bulky. There's no way that I could get any of those normal treadmills up the stairs in my house, let alone get it into this office. When it's completely unfolded, the X21 is long, but it's not bulky. But when it's folded up, as you can see in the background there, it just tucks away at the back of the room. Now, if you've got a dedicated room, like a garage or a shed or something that you've converted into a gym, it's probably not a big problem to just have a normal treadmill that's cheaper and have it, unfolded at all times. But I think for most of us, we don't have that. We don't have a dedicated gym. And that's where something like the X21 comes into play. And that's why it is a game changer in my eyes. I think a lot of people out there have never considered a treadmill because they don't have the space for it. Whereas, the X21 and its folding mechanism means that you can just fit it into anywhere. A room like this, your bedroom, your office, your living room, you'll be able to fit it into some room in your house. Now, in comparison to other treadmills, I've never had another treadmill at home, but I have used a ton of different treadmills at lots of different gyms. And it's kind of from a noise perspective, the X21 is no different. When you're walking, you will hear that treadmill belt noise, the belt spinning round and round as you're walking. And as you get faster, that noise will be louder. I don't think that's a problem. That's just something that treadmills do. And if it is a problem for you, just put on some earphones, listen to some music, watch a film or something. But just be aware of that. They say that it's barely audible, and that's correct when you're not using it. But when you're using it, you will hear it. You will hear that treadmill belt noise. It's not overly noisy, and I'm sure there's treadmills out there that are a lot noisier, but it is something that you have to be aware of. I think the key thing for me, and one of the reasons that I've loved using this over the last month or two, is that it's just so easy to use. Yes, you do have that companion app or apps. There's two apps here, but the KS Fit app is the one to use. There's an app there or two apps that you can use and you can track your progress and you can, track your workouts and see your distance and all that. And that's all good. But as I said, with my Garmin watch, it's maybe just a wee bit easier for me to use this. But it is good that those apps are there, and it is, great that it tracks everything and you can monitor your activity over days, weeks, months, and years. So it's good that they have that companion app, and the app works so well because it just connects to the treadmill instantly. But I think for me, the greatest thing about it is just the simplicity of that display. You've just got a big dial that says start. You can put the speed up, you can put the speed down, you can pause it, you can stop it. And at any time, you can see your time and your distance and all that. You can see everything that you need to see. And that's the greatest thing. That's all you need to see. Your speed, how long you've been walking, the distance. It shows your calories as well. But that's what I love about it. The simplicity of it is that in literally, 60 seconds, I can bring this out, connect it up, push the start button, and I'm walking. And I can spend another an hour watching a film or an episode or something. And that's what I love about it, the simplicity of it. It's quick to unfold and it's quick to fold back up and it's quick to use and it's easy to use. So yes, it's a lot of money. There's no way getting around the fact this is an expensive treadmill. It's £600 to £700, or $700 to $800. And there are cheaper treadmills out there that don't fold. But, you know, I think this is like anything, you know, the more likely you can, the more ways that you can fit this into your lifestyle, the more likely you are to use it. If I had bought a big bulky treadmill, it would have ended up in my garage and I'd never use it. But this is the back of my room, which is why I've been unfolding it a lot, connecting it here and just watching a film on this monitor in front of me here. So yes, after 7 weeks of using it, I can, you know, wholeheartedly recommend it. I've been very, very happy with it. As always, I do encourage you to look at other reviews. I do encourage you to check out the official website and just, you know, do your research and find out, you know, what it can do for you, and just look at some other perspectives from it from other reviewers. But from my point of view, as someone who used to run a lot and has struggled to do a lot of steps and to get out running recently because of injuries, this is perfect for me, especially because it's still winter and I'm asthmatic, so it's really hard for me to get out running because of the cold air. So this is hopefully going to get me going again, get me moving again, and hopefully lose a few pounds along the way. So yes, sitting at the back of the room, the X21, delighted with it. It does come with, I think, a 1-year warranty, but you can extend that for more years, but you have to pay for that. But I've not seen any issues with it so far. The folding mechanism is solid. So yeah, my experience with it has been positive. Check it out for yourself, check out the website, check out other reviews. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you've learned more about what the treadmill can do. If you have enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you get any questions about it or any questions about my experience of using it, please do post a comment below and I'll do my best to answer it. Until next time, take care.